This is another example of Judicial Watch being able to get records that Congress could not get or has not gotten yet on an important issue, which is the relationship between Joe Biden and his family in terms of government business at the White House. A lot of news going on. Hunter got referred for contempt to the full House. He showed up like something out of The Godfather, a mafioso sitting in the committee room. I think some people have said he was trying to get good video for a documentary he was trying to make some money off of. So he goes to the committee that he refused to testify to sit in the committee room. I don't know, to intimidate them? I mean, what was going on there? Like I said, it was like a mafia scene. He left after 10 minutes, but they voted him in contempt, and now it will go to the full floor. As I said earlier, and it's been confirmed 6 ways to Sunday, and through even admissions by the White House, Joe and Hunter colluded and conspired on this obstruction and contempt of Congress, and Joe Biden should be investigated as much as Hunter is, assuming this goes past the floor. Now, what happens is next week, there's supposed to be a floor vote by the full House on the contempt referral to the Justice Department of Hunter Biden for violating, I think it's 2 subpoenas. I didn't realize there were 2 subpoenas he had avoided pursuing. And just before I came on here, it was reported that his lawyers are trying to save him. And they said, well, you now have an official impeachment proceeding, and our earlier objections to your subpoena aren't necessarily there anymore, so you give us a new subpoena and we'll set up a deposition, as what the House wanted earlier. So it looks to me like they may defer on the referral if they get him nailed down on a deposition date. But it just highlights the obstruction, right? I mean, it's all a game. And Hunter was out in California pleading not guilty to tax charges which are been narrowed and constricted to protect Joe Biden from being implicated. So I saw the not guilty proceeding, the arraignment proceedings in California where Hunter pled not guilty, as just evidence of obstruction of justice and cover-up by the Justice Department. Because the key issues related to Joe, by all accounts, were kept out of the underlying investigation, which meant they let statute limitations issues lapse, and they specifically avoided other legal issues that could implicate Joe Biden and other family members directly. But so as the Justice Department engages in cover-up for Joe Biden, and the House doesn't really know what to do about Hunter as they investigate him, it's all a game up there. Judicial Watch just keeps on keeping on, right, with our FOIAs and our investigations. And Judicial Watch had filed a lawsuit last year for records of the, essentially, the Biden crime family. We wanted to know from his days as vice president what records were there related to his family and other individuals involved in the Biden family business operations, as we've alleged. And of course, the National Archives, which holds these records, because they're from President Obama's term and when Biden was vice president there, the Archives, which, by the way, is trying and desperate to jail Trump, working with the Biden Justice Department, was ignoring the rule of law under FOIA and not giving us the document. So we had to sue. And once we began the suit, you know, all this news came out about the alias emails that Joe Biden had. He didn't have, like, I guess maybe he did, but he didn't use regularly the Joe Biden at whitehouse.gov or VP at whitehouse.gov. He had alias accounts he used to conduct business, government business, on those these White House servers. So in theory, those records should still be with the archives. And so we said, you better be sure to search any alias email accounts. Now, I talked about a few weeks ago how the first batch of documents we got from that lawsuit, by the way, these are records, by the way, Congress hasn't been able to get yet. They're desperate to get the Alias emails. And Judicial Watch is getting them first by all accounts. We found that Joe and Hunter received an email. So Hunter was CC'd on this email, carbon copied, about Joe being briefed on a meeting and the timing of a meeting with the then president of Ukraine. Why was Hunter involved in that? Interesting, isn't it? Given his role in Burisma and other Ukraine-related corruption and Joe's role there. But since then, we received another batch of documents, and in toto, I think we have about 210 emails that Joe Biden received or sent through various email accounts. I think the one account that pops up, he uses Robin Ware, ROBINWARE 4456 at gmail.com. So he wasn't even using a White House account. It was a Gmail account to conduct government business. And no, that's not necessarily illegal, by the way. It's not necessarily illegal. If you conduct government business on a personal account, you're not necessarily prohibited, depends on the agency rules, but you're required if they're government business emails to CC your own email account and preserve a copy under records laws, or so many have argued that should be the case. You know, like all areas of the law, I've been doing this for 25 years at Judicial Watch. Everyone argues about everything. So what I'm saying is to what's required under records law. You could have 10 lawyers expert in government records, actually 10 Judicial Watch lawyers expert in government records, and there would be quite the energetic discussion about what is required and what should be required. So of the 210 emails, there are a lot of interesting emails, but they show generally that James Biden, President Biden's brother, this is again from his days as vice president, Hunter Biden, Beau Biden, who was alive obviously at the time, was getting a lot of government-related emails from the vice president's office and Joe Biden. Now generally, the children, oftentimes the grandchildren of presidents get Secret Service protection. And yet, there's this time in August of 2016 where they waived the Secret Service protection for Hunter Biden and Beau Biden's daughter, I think, Natalie. And there it is. Thank you. Both the vice president and I sign off on the agreed upon requested interruption in protection for Natalie and Hunter. I see that Robert I. Peters. I think that's also the vice president's Alias account. So they were all going to Kosovo for a few days, and for some reason over there in Kosovo, they were building a statue to Beau Biden and dedicating a highway or something. And I mean, why wouldn't he have Secret Service protection there? I mean, where did he go without the Secret Service protection? We don't know, and you know, and that raises the obvious issue. Is that the whole point? So we don't know. And what's interesting is that Judicial Watch had previously uncovered through Secret Service records, because this is what I love about Judicial Watch. We just, I mean, if you know the way the government operates, it's kind of an obvious way of getting information, but not many people think like we do in terms of figuring out how to get information. So, you know, you typically can't get records from the White House about who they're traveling with. You know, they've got this discretion. You can't sue them directly. You have to wait for years after the fact. But you can get records from the Secret Service about what they're doing. So we received Secret Service records about their protection of Hunter, what they were, where they were going, and the expenses associated with that. And we found that Hunter went on, I don't know, how many trips? 29 countries, 41 trips, 5 trips to China, one of which at least was on Air Force Two, with Secret Service protection. So we're not denying that he needed Secret Service protection. We think it's appropriate they get Secret Service protection, or at least I think. But why was he traveling all over the world like that other than to trade on his father's name? And get the racket going. And what's interesting is Hunter, I don't think this is official, but it's well understood that Hunter gave up the Secret Service protection, I think about 6 years into Obama's presidency. Looks like there were 2 years or so where Hunter wasn't protected by the Secret Service. And again, you can guess why. Now there could be he was in the thrall of his drug addiction, and maybe that was a reason why. And I hope he's over it. I mean, I don't wish that on anyone. But the left likes to use, and the Biden regime likes to use, his drug addiction as an excuse for his other misconduct involving his father, and that's not obviously right. So why didn't he want Secret Service protection for those 2 years? What was he doing? I think those are all fair questions. And why was he in Kosovo? Why did they have this weird interruption for Secret Service protection when he was there for this big event in honor of his brother, his deceased brother? Very strange. So once again, it's Judicial Watch to the rescue here, getting the Biden emails that show, as I say in our press release, that Joe Biden and his family had a close working relationship on government matters. No wonder the Biden administration has been hiding these emails from Congress and the American people. So this is another example of Judicial Watch being able to get records that Congress could not get or has not gotten yet on an important issue, which is the relationship between Joe Biden and his family in terms of government business at the White House. Now, obviously, we can't get the records now, at least directly. Congress can. I don't know where they stand on that. But if they do, if they can't get records from 8 years ago, I have a hard time thinking they're going to get records that the White House has showing contemporaneous activities of the President of the United States. So we'll see how that works. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.